Alright guys, welcome back to part 2C of Exposing XPM. Last time we left off just as we were about to go over the insane rules from XPM servers. And trust me when I say this, I mean insane, absolutely ridiculous. Alright, so let's dive straight into it. Schnuffle, who had been in XPM server in the past, sent me loads of screenshots, including a full list of rules that XPM had created. There were over 50 rules in the server, 50. And trust me, most of these were completely unnecessary, controlling, plain weird, so let's go through some of the strangest ones. Don't claim I have an identity crisis. Okay, so that was rule 51. I'm confused why you would need to make a rule about that if you don't have an identity crisis, so why are you so pressed about people mentioning it, which, oh right, probably because you have a ton of alt accounts, and yet the same childish and immature personality. You're proving the point, XPM. Alright, rule 57. Don't call anyone other than me Prodidos, Papa, XPM, and or Prodidos. Okay, so I'm confused. Why does this even need to be a rule? And second of all, why is he so obsessed with controlling what people call others? The fact that this is something he's focused on is strange on another level. Rule 22. Only I can turn this server into something else. And we know he took full advantage of that at one point, which was because the server was most likely the anti-Ariana and King Gaming server at one point before he rebranded it again. And rule 30, don't use my account to send inappropriate content. This happened a bunch of months ago. Wait. So either your account was hacked or you're admitting that you let other people use your account, because why would this be a rule otherwise? This actually makes me wonder if his whole account is run by multiple people or if he just tries to shift the blame onto others when things go wrong. Also, someone has mentioned that his past mentioned in the past that his account may have been hacked, and he doesn't want that past brought up, whatever that means. Rule 27, don't call me @Schnuffle or any other names than XPM user AO28 TH28 ... and a bunch of other names that he listed, one of which was his YouTube channel, Learning and Fun with SC. So he's got at least a dozen names, and yet he doesn't want people questioning if he has an identity crisis. Okay, make it make sense. See, this right here is the problem with XPM. He wants total control over everything in his servers, but the second someone holds him accountable or exposes him, he suddenly plays the victim card. He's making these bizarre rules not because they're actually necessary, but because he wants to manipulate the people around him. He tries to rewrite the history, erase his past mistakes, and act like he's the one being attacked, when in reality, he's the one who keeps dragging people into this nonsense. He's trying so hard to control the narrative, but let's be real, these rules only make him look worse. The more we dig into this, the more obvious it becomes that he's terrified of being exposed. Alright, so here are other rules. You can pause to read if you want. And as you can see, he was timed out. Schnuffle was timed out for 6 hours. I don't know what he was saying, but probably he didn't do anything, and then yeah. And he has 99 pings. I'm not sure if that's from XPM or other people. And then here's a few more rules. So in my Discord server, I made an exposed channel where people could send screenshots and any other info they had about XPM, and the receipts started coming in fast. Minio Ray sent in a picture that XPM spammed him with message but deleted all of them afterward, except for the waving thing. And I started getting these messages from people telling me where XPM was striking next with his spam. One of his placements was Griffon, I believe I'm saying that right, his YouTube channel server. And get this, he actually created an event called Don't Support Ariana and King Gaming Anymore. Like, really, you're so obsessed with me that you're making actual events to try and stop people from watching my content? That's beyond desperate. And just to be clear, that was Prodidos/XPM that created that, not Griffon. Well, I think it is off now. This wasn't even the first time he did this. He did something like this back in part 1. We covered how he tried to make a new rule thread in the Prodigy Math Game server, which got shut down, but he clearly hasn't learned from his lesson. Schnuffle sent even more screenshots from XPM server where, surprise surprise, he was still spamming my profile picture with a giant red X over it. He does this constantly. It's like he has nothing better to do. And there's also a screenshot from a DM between Prodidos and Schnuffle. In it, XPM tells Schnuffle, "You're like Latina," to which Schnuffle replies, "I'm not Latina." That right there, that's straight up racism, no excuses, it just shows the kind of person XPM is. Remember the dating time server from part 2B? Well, we found that very owner, and that owner was named owner Sid / Sid But Real, but there's a very real possibility that XPM stole or hacked this server from Sid. Super Cool YouTube even mentioned that XPM ruined his friend's server in the past. Could this be what he was talking about? In this past, XPM was desperately trying to keep it hidden because it sure seems like he wants to. Now let's talk about what went down in Skyfolk server. Skyfolk has been working with me from the start on this. She was the one who actually first uncovered the situation in my server and encouraged me to expose XPM. At one point, XPM tried to join the server, but Skyfolk handled it. I wasn't online at that time, but trust me, she took care of it, and that was on her server. But if you want more details on that, you can check out her follow-up video, which will be premiering right after this one. But here's where things got really interesting. A brand new Discord account joined her server. The name was... I have no clue how to pronounce that, honestly. So for the sake of the video, we're just going to be referring to her as MK. So this account was created seconds before joining the server, which was already suspicious. We kept an eye on her because there was a chance she was just another one of XPM's op. But what was really strange was that she knew XPM. She was in one of his servers and tried to defend him, trying to find any possible way to justify XPM's actions. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Skyfolk even put a debate case to figure out who was actually in the right and who was in the wrong. Now, I won't spoil how that turned out, but let's just say it was very, very interesting. And if you want to see the full case, you'll definitely want to check out Skyfolk's follow-up video, which again is premiering right after this. And that brings us to what happens next, because everything we just uncovered, things were still not over. That's right, in part 2D, things take a whole new turn when I get into a heated argument with MK, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss what happens next. So stay tuned for part 2D, and don't forget, Skyfolk's follow-up video is premiering right after this one, where she covers even more about the debate case and the time XPM tried to sneak into her server. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.